Alright, so check this out. If I push this button, this thing moves. Okay? If I don't push this button, this thing does not move. Sure, okay, maybe I can try to claw it open. And I successfully failed. But if I don't do some type of movement to make this thing move, it's not going to move. It's going to stay the same. So, this is what happens.
Flor y Canto presents.
I said that because, simple point, change occurs when something also changes. For example, Newton's law of motion. I don't really know which one it is, but I do know that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon an outside force. In other words, if something does not come and do something to something, then that something will stay the same. Until I push this button, this thing opens. So there's only a couple episodes left before this first season of Conversaciones Verdaderas is complete. And so thinking about, there's only a couple left, I thought about parents. So I wanted to make this special one, this one specifically, very specially, for papás, for parents. For parents specifically, the parents I know, the parents that love their children, the parents that want. This is everybody. This is everybody. I know this is everybody. So this is for you. Parents are so freaking crazy. By crazy, I mean awesome. I mean good. Why? Because they're like the foundation of everything. If two people didn't love each other, then I wouldn't exist. If two other people didn't love each other, then probably 8 children wouldn't have existed. And the world keeps on moving because of parents. The world keeps on growing, and generations keep on expanding and increasing, and this world keeps on passing love through the life inside of two people who love each other. That before they had a baby, they were two individual people, but after they had a baby, now they are parents. Now they're in this new realm, this new level of love inside their soul. So parents are this foundation for the entire world. A family is a foundation for the entire world. And so what's the foundation of parents? Foundation of parents is relationship. Foundation of relationship is love. When two people like each other, I'm not even talking about like lovey love. I'm just talking about like just regular friendship love. There's an interest in one person to the other and the other person to the other. They look at each other as fully individual people. They respect each other. They are kind to each other. They use this language of respect and love and dignity and faithfulness in this relationship to communicate and to spend time to share, so that in this relationship love is cultivated, trust is cultivated, and peace ultimately comes from two people in a good relationship, knowing that somebody's going to be there for you and you're going to be there for them. You're not alone, and that somebody cares about you. Somebody is really, really down for you, like you want people to be down for you, like you want to be down for others. And so that is the foundation of a family relationship. That is the foundation to create a family relationship. And then fast forward after that, we move into the family aspect. There's father, there's son, and then there's mother, and then probably there's daughter, and etc. And the foundation of this love is also relationship. It should be, at least. But this is where it kind of becomes a little tricky, because there's such an immense love, and there's also a type of sinful nature. There's an immense love and such a also a imperfect human, that sometimes this relationship becomes kind of unsmooth, kind of rocky. What relationship am I talking about? I'm talking about between parents and children. So parents, this is to you, to your relationship with your child. I thought of you specifically because I think of how important it is for my dad to play his role as father in my life, his adjusting role as father. When I was a baby, he had to make sure that I had food in my mouth, and he had to make sure that he carried me, and when I cried, he changed my diaper. When I was 3 or 4, 5 or 6, he had to make sure that he played with me because I wanted that attention. That's how I spent time with him. When I was 13 or 14, he took me out to eat because I thought it was so cool to try something new because my dad let me do it. 17 and 18, that he started to give some space, and he helped me discover my own parts and my own agreements and my own disagreements, and that I grow in respect and love and etc. When I'm 25, he gives more space and still loves me so much, and I'm always going to be his baby in this whole process. But his role of father starts to adjust and change as I start to adjust and change. Just as before, this used to work with this. And then later, I don't have an AirPod, but AirPods, new headphones that you use, you put them in your ear, and you don't need a CD. You just use your headphones and your phone. So the importance of a father and mother is gorgeous. It's just vital. It's just immense. But Pops, this one's for you. I want to come to acknowledge that I know that me and us, I guess you could say, the young, teenage, whatever you might want to call the range of 18 and 22, 20, 21, I don't know, 9, 15. We do things that we shouldn't do, that we also should do, and I think we have our play in our relationship with you guys. We have our spot, and there's no excuses. We have to live to our spots. We have to make sure that we adjust our lives too for the best of ourselves, and also because you tell us. And so I do agree, and I acknowledge that we are not perfect. But I want to wake you up, Pops, in case you're asleep, in case you're not paying attention, that maybe when your son says, "You don't understand me," maybe you don't understand him. Dad, Mom, I noticed that parents fall asleep. Parents get drifted by everything else in the world, that they forget about that foundation of the family, which is a relationship. They get so bogged up also even in their own religious loves and their own business loves and their own everything loves, that they forget about what's important, about what makes family family, what makes your life exist, relationship. And this is to you and your relationship with your son. There's 2 options daily to build a strong relationship with your son, with your daughter. This is the good money and this is the bad money. 1,000 years ago, people said that our generation was the worst generation ever. And then 1,000 years forward, they also said the same thing. And then 20 years, they're going to say the same thing. So apparently every year, every generation that's young is pretty rebellious. I'd say that's false. That's false. I'd say maybe what it is that the adulthood does not know how to listen to the teenagehood because they do not know how to communicate. They don't know how to communicate because they don't know how to listen to the teenagehood. So because the people that they're communicating to, the young, since they're not communicating in the language that the young will understand, then the young continues to do whatever he needs to do, and the adulthood feels like they never listen. So therefore, they are the worst generation ever. But that's your fault. What? Yes, check this out. This is bad money, this is good money. This is truth, and this is what works, and this is false, and this is not what works. Truth is, actually, let's go with this one. This one is fear. Closed ears, selfishness, pride, and the opposite of sympathy, the opposite of empathy, apathy. And over here is the good coins, which is trust, humility, love, smallness, inspiration. These are options that we have to choose from. These are options that parents have to choose from. And in your relationship with your child, When you pick these, your relationship becomes stronger. And when you pick these, your relationship does not become as strong. And to the false, last time I checked, fear and being scared and scaring doesn't create trust. And last time I checked, when you don't have trust, you don't have ears that listen. Last time I checked, when you don't care about something, when you show no actions of love, then that results in distrust. And distrust creates no love. And last time I checked, pride closes the heart to love. And last time I checked, when you have no love, you have no smile. And to the true, last time I checked, God shows you that he can trust you. God shows with his actions who he is, so that you can trust him, so that you can come to him. Last time I checked, trust creates a relationship. And last time I checked, humility creates inspiration, is admiring, and gives rest to the heart, and creates dialogue, friendship, communication, trust. Last time I checked, ears that listen usually consequently create another ear that listens. And now the ear on your head that was once listening, now the same lips, the words that come out of your mouth now are heard from the other person that you listen to. These are truths that do not change. And so when you apply these truths to the relationship with your son and your daughter, then suddenly the generation that was the worst in the entire world is no longer the worst. Because now you understand that the person you have in front of you is no longer just somebody who doesn't listen, who's going through a phase, who doesn't understand, who never listens. Now that person is, oh snap, I think you're really cool. Whoa, those are cool ideas. You're a little different than me. Oh, and you're kind of lost here. You probably need some help here. But I like that you're thinking. Suddenly this person is valuable. Who's this person? Your son and your daughter. I say wake up. Why? Because father, mother, when your relationship with your child is all about you, then no wonder your child is not going to listen. And so if you do not make a change, this will not open. If you do not make a change, then the relationship with your son and with your daughter will stay the same. If you do not make a change, then maybe your child will not open up their heart. If you do make a change, if you do make adjustments in your relationship, then you will receive that change that you desire inside of the walls that you live in. And you get to restore that love, that ambient desire, the color that makes life sweet every morning. So what I'm saying is wake up to pay attention to the relationship of you and your son. What can you do so that that can be smooth? What can you surrender so that you can actually be listened to? What can you give so that you can also take? And what I'm talking about taking is friendship, is love. What can you adjust so that this can be better? I have tips, I have ideas, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has an intuition. There's no one prescription that works for everybody other than love. But, okay, so maybe I shouldn't have said that, but the case is you have an intuition and you have a spirit, and you have the Spirit of God inside here. And it usually does tell you where to go. What's the next step? What do I think I need to adjust so that this can change? Use your intuition, your love, with the understanding that you're going to have to surrender some stuff. You're going to have to surrender some pride. You're going to have to be more humble. So that you and the relationship within your son is built on confidence, not fear. So it's built on love, not fear. So it's built on strength. But here are some tips. I do believe you should discipline your son, your daughter. I do believe you should discipline. That's essential to build pillars around your house. God promotes discipline. God is the person to be wrecked, to be sold, to be truthful. God is the person to tell the adulteress that she should not sin anymore. But he's also the person to say, I forgive you. God is the person to live inside his soul a life of love. So take some tips from Christ. What I mean is, don't do exactly what he did. That's called copying. It's called plagiarism. I'm saying, just check out. Be inspired by. And if you can't relate to him, then think of somebody else. And here are some examples. Ears. Ears are really important. When you listen to people, you understand people. When I listen to this machine and I understand how it works, then I can come to this machine and push it where it needs to be opened. But if I don't understand my child, if I don't understand my son, I don't have a son, but if I don't understand my child, or I don't understand the people around me, I'm specific. If I don't understand the people in my household, if I don't understand specifically my children, then how will I know how to talk to them? Maybe they're right when they say you don't understand them, because you possibly don't. Because if you did understand them, then you would be able to do this. Maybe even open up their own hearts so that they can talk to you. But to that, you have to listen. Maybe it's your turn to listen. Maybe you've told your children that they have to listen, but got it. Maybe it's your turn. And to let you know, I don't pay attention to your words. I pay attention to what you do. Your words speak your soul, speak your mind. The outside, your eyes, how you see me, all of that speaks what's in here. Don't worry so much about telling and making sure that your child knows this and that and this and that, as much as you worry about how much you act it so that they can see it and say, oh my God, my dad just loved that person and that person just totally broke his business or just totally broke his heart. To see that your son is inspired by you will create lots of joy inside your soul, because I promise you that your son cannot resist inspiration. Your daughter cannot resist the love that she sees, because your examples show everything. So if you're trying to get your child to change and to be different, continue to stop and be the one to be different. Adjust your own life so that she can see the difference in you. And she can also know that, okay, my dad changes. I can too. And I do too. To the Christian families, be more worried about listening to your own purpose in life, to what Christ put you on this earth for, than teaching the catechism to your children. I'm saying that's important and that is true. And they will learn that eventually. That's fine. But what's the point of them learning the catechism and they don't know how to love? Suddenly the catechism is the most boring thing ever. So that's like the opposite of what you wanted. You wanted them to be closer to God, so you brought them a book so that they can learn about the faith. That's true. I think that's important. And you should do it in a very wise way. But if you don't love and you don't live your own purpose, then your children will not know what to live for or what all this is for. Worry more about living this purpose than it is about the catechism or the religious stuff, which is important. But I'm just saying, if you listen more to the purpose of your own life, then your children will also listen to the most close thing to their heart, their own purpose. And then they will listen to God. Then they will listen. So the biggest thing here is, I'm not stopping your actions. I'm not stopping your intuition as a parent. If anything, I'm adjusting so that it's not based off of fear. It's not based off of always calling out what's wrong. So it's based off of respect, dignity. So it's based off of love. So it's based off of confidence, because confidence really creates trust. Well, it's both the same thing. Trust creates good ears. And good ears receives good advice from you. Because I promise you one thing, your children love you. There's an automatic love that happens when you're born. And you love your parents like crazy. You just naturally do. It's just supposed to be there. As time progresses and the parent, I guess, doesn't change, and the child does not feel like they're receiving the love that they should be receiving in the way that they should be receiving it, then that starts to create a little bit of a choppiness and unsmoothness. But the unsmoothness can change as long as you also, pops, make adjustments. So your children always love you. They might just feel like you don't understand them. And so here's a secret in case you maybe haven't found this out, but in the whole spiritual Christian world, everything's the opposite. To be listened to, you have to listen. Because when you listen, you understand. And when you understand, then you can communicate properly. To be loved, you have to love. And to understand that you are special, you serve. So next time that you react with your children, consider, okay, what's the truth in this situation? What's the good stuff? What action can I do right now? Or do later, maybe in the day if I can't do it right now. That will create trust, love, respect, and mutuality among me and my family, and especially my children. So thank you for everything that you do. You're so special. And if you weren't alive, if you didn't do everything you tried to in your day, then nobody would be alive. So I'm so grateful for everything that you do. And so thank you. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to bring that to your attention. If you slipped that out of your mind, if you're falling asleep, to wake up, to remember. The important thing, relationship with your children. And it's up to you to change, to make change, to get that relationship that you want.